Now in this video we will learn about thanatology. Uh, what is thanatology? Thanatology is the study of the death and its aspects. The study of death and its aspect is called as thanatology. Study of the postmortem changes is called as taphonomy. And which defines the death? 46 IPC defines the death, and death was defined under Declaration of Sydney in Australia. What are the type of the death? Two types: somatic and cellular or molecular death. Somatic death is the cessation of the life process and extinction of the personality. So Bishop's triad in Lost. So Bishop's triad is asphyxia, syncope, and coma. Asphyxia of the lung, syncope in the heart, and coma in the brain. This is called as atria mortis. So asphyxia, syncope, and coma. So all the damage to the heart, lung, and brain is the opening portal for the death called as atria mortis. What is cellular death? Cellular death is the death of molecular and cellular elements. Somatic cellular death occur after the somatic death. So first there is somatic death, cessation of the life process, then death at the level of molecule and cell, and cellular death. So the time interval between the cellular and the somatic death is called as supravital interval. So cadaveric organ harvesting is done in the supravital interval. So if we will ask, cadaveric organ harvesting is done in which period? It is in the supravital period. And after the death, there is Zensco phenomena or the Tyndall reaction can be checked. So 1 to 2 hours after the somatic death, since the cellular death has not occurred, so striking lower one third of the quadriceps tendon leads to upward movement of the patella. So what is Zensco phenomena or tendon reaction? It is seen 1 to 2 hours after the death. It is a tendon reflex in which striking lower one third of the patella, lower one third of the quadriceps tendon lead to upward movement of the patella. And what is brainstem death? For brainstem death, we use Minnesota criteria. So which criteria is used for brainstem death? Minnesota criteria. So brainstem reflex remain absent for, if the brainstem reflex remain absent for 12 hours, we will call this as brain death. So when a person is called brain death, if a brainstem reflex remain absent for 12 hours, it will be called as brainstem death. What are the brainstem reflex? So we have corneal reflex, we have corneal reflex, we have corneal reflex, and next reflex is pupillary reflex, then cuff and gag reflex, ciliospinal reflex, and oculovestibular reflex. So these are the 5 brainstem reflex. Corneal reflex with just a tissue, we'll check the corneal blink. Pupillary reflex is the mydriasis and meiosis test on light and dark. Cuff and gag reflex for the posterior pharyngeal wall. Ciliospinal reflex, we will pinch on head, neck, and face. We will see pupillary dilation. And oculovestibular test is when hot water and cold water is placed into the ear, the pupillary dilation is checked. So after that we will see brainstem death. For brainstem death के लिए क्या यूज होता है? brainstem death के लिए मिनेसोटा criteria. And for the cortical death, for the cortex death, Harvard criteria is used. So Minnesota criteria for the brain death and Harvard criteria for the cortical death. Now see, we'll different graft. Xenograft is between the different species. Isograft is between the identical twins, and allograft between the same species, and autograft means transplant of tissue from the same person. So xenograft is between different species. Isograft is between the identical twins. Allograft is between the same species, and allograft is from the same person. Now order now absolute test for the assessment of respiration and circulation. What are the tests to assess the circulation, and what are the tests to assess the respiration? So for the respiration we have Winslow, mirror, and feather test. So for the respiration we have Winslow, mirror, and feather test for the respiration. For the circulation we have Magnus, diaphanous, and ICARD dye test. So Magnus, diaphanous, and ICARD dye test are for the circulation. In ICARD dye test, fluorescent dye is used. In In diaphanous test, there is transillumination of the web space. So transillumination of web space is in diaphanous test, and Magnus test is a simple finger ligature test. So for the cortical depth, we see circulation and respiration. For the respiration, we have Winslow mirror and feather test. Winslow test, there is movement of the chest, and for the circulation, we have Magnus, diaphanous, and ICART. In ICART fluorescent diaphanous, there is transillumination of the web space, and Magnus test is a finger ligature test. What is suspended animation? The person is alive but looks dead. The person is alive but looks dead is because of the decreased metabolic activity. Decreased metabolic activity, we cannot assess respiratory and circulatory sign. So person look as if he or she is dead, but is actually alive. So what are the signs showing the suspended animation? It is after prolonged anesthesia. After prolonged anesthesia, person looks dead because of decreased metabolic activity. So we cannot assess respiratory and circulatory sign. So after prolonged anesthesia in newborn baby, in cholera and concussion. In cholera and concussion, person looks as if is dead. And after drowning and electrocution also, person looks like he is dead. And in also in hypothermia, shock, sunstroke, and insanity. So hypothermia, shock, or sunstroke, or in the insane person also look as he or she is dying. And in the trance state, the yoga also, there is no role of doctor in the trance state. So the person looks die in which condition? In after the prolonged anesthesia, in the newborn baby, in the cholera, in the concussion, after hyperthermia or hypothermia, in drowning state or electrocution state, and in the state of trance or shock state or sunstroke, uh, shock due to sunstroke. So in this, the person look as he is in state of suspended animation. So after prolonged anesthesia, in newborn baby, in cholera, concussion, drowning, electrocution, hypothermia, shock, sunstroke, and insanity, person look as he is in the state of suspended animation. Now, what are the postmortem changes? We'll see the postmortem changes. So what are the immediate sign? We'll first see immediate sign, then early sign, and late sign. So what are the late sign? Late sign are the decomposition and putrefaction are the late sign. And what are the immediate sign? Immediately we will see cessation of respiration, cessation of circulation, and insensibility. So immediate sign of the death are this vital sign, which also seen by the bishop's triad. The brain, lung, and heart are involved. Brain insensibility and loss of voluntary power is the earliest sign. So what's the immediate sign is the insensibility and loss of voluntary control and cessation of respiration and circulation. So lung, heart, and brain are the involved first affected. First brain is affected, and then heart and lungs are affected. Early sign are the eye changes, postmortem staining, rigor mortis, and algor mortis. So eye changes, postmortem staining, rigor mortis, and algor mortis. For late sign are decomposition and putrefaction. So what are the changes in the eye? In eye, there is railroading sign. Kevorkian phenomena is the earliest change. So what's the Kevorkian phenomena? Retinal vessels are the fragmented and segmented, involving trucking appearance. So railroad phenomena of the trucking appearance are retinal blood vessels are segmented and fragmented. And also the intraocular tension becomes nil after 2 hours after the death. And tachinoid formation is a cellular or epithelial debris formation in the sclera. Tachinoid start as the white triangular discoloration in the sclera. So tachinoid formation is seen. So initially yellow discoloration, then it becomes brownish black in color. And also increase of potassium in the vitreous humor. Cornea become opaque in 6 hours. Hypoxanthine increase and glucose decrease in the vitreous. So what are the eye changes? First is the railroading sign or Kevorkian sign. that is retinal blood vessel become fragmented and or segmented. Then so railroading sign, that is Kevorkian sign, in which the retinal blood vessels are segmented and fragmented. Next is the decrease in intraocular tension. Intraocular tension decreases. It becomes nil after 2 hours after the death. And after Kevorkian sign, there is tachynoid in the eyes. Tachynoid is nothing but cellular or epithelial debris deposition on the sclera. Tachynoid start as yellowish triangular spot, then it become brownish black. So first it is yellowish triangular spot, then it become brownish black in color. And it is seen after 3 hours after the death. And then what are the changes happening in the vitreous humor? In vitreous humor, this increase in the potassium ion, increase in the hypoxanthine concentration, and decrease in glucose concentration. Is seen the the early sign will see in eye changes, postmortem staining, rigor mortis, and algar mortis. Eye changes are done. Eye changes are the Kevorkian sign or railroading phenomena or tucking appearance of the retinal vessels, and talk about the intraocular tension, tachynoid formation, and what are the changes, biochemical changes happening in the vitreous humor, increase in potassium and hypoxanthine, and decrease in glucose. Then we will see what are the temperature changes. We will see what are the temperature changes. We will see algar mortis. So algar mortis is a decrease in temperature after the death. So algar mortis decrease in temperature after the death. It shows sigmoid curve. So initially we'll see there's isothermic phase followed by rapid decline, and again become isothermic at low temperature. So initially isothermic followed by rapid decline, again isothermic. So what is the ideal site to record body temperature? It is the rectum. Core body temperature is 98.5 degree Fahrenheit. So thermometer is used. Thermometer is 25 to 30 centimeter long. 0 to 50 degrees Celsius can be measured. Inferior surface of liver can also be used to measure body temperature. Rate of fall is 0.4 to 0.6 degree Celsius in tropical and 1 degree per Celsius in temperate. Obviously in the temperate or cold climate, the rate of fall will be high. In summer it is 0.5 to 0.75, and in winter it is 0.7 to 1.5 degree Fahrenheit per hour. So winter rate of fall is more in winter. So what we seen in algar mortis, the decrease in temperature after that. Initially it is isothermic followed by rapid decline and fall, and later also at low temperature become isothermic. Then what is the ideal site to record the temperature? It is the rectum is the ideal site, or the inferior surface of the liver can also be used, but rectum is the ideal. So core body temperature is 98.5 degree Fahrenheit, and we see the rate of fall of temperature is more in the winter than in the summer. Rate of fall is more in the temperate area than in the tropical area. Temperate is 1 degree Celsius per hour, and tropical it is only 0.4 to 0.6 degree Fahrenheit per hour. So this is about the algar mortis, and we see this is the graph of rigor mortis, and this is the graph of postmortem lividity. This L shape, inverted L shape is postmortem lividity. This is inverted U shape is rigor mortis, and decomposition, and this is the graph of decomposition. This is just increasing graph. This is for the decomposition. To see various graphs, we've seen various graph. This is the sigmoid graph is for the algar mortis. This is for the rigor mortis. This is for the decomposition, and postmortem lividity is L-shaped graph for the temperature. Thermometer is an instrument used for measure body temperature. So thermometer, which is 25 to 30 centimeter long thermometer, and 0 to 50 degrees Celsius temperature can be measured inside the thermometer. I'll see next the time since death we can also calculate. So body temperature, normal body temperature, that is 98.5. minus rectal temperature divided by rate of fall. Rate of fall we have seen it is 0.5 to 0.75 in summer and 0.5 to 0.75 in summer and zero point 0.7 to 1.5 in winter. So postmortem caloricity is so we have seen algor mortis or the decrease in temperature, but sometimes there is postmortem caloricity is seen. That is temperature of the body remain raised for 2 hours after death. So it is condition with ultimately the temperature will have to fall but remain raised for 2 after the death. So increased bacterial activity, the septicemia or cholera. So failure of heat regulation in sunstroke or pontine hemorrhage, and in poisoning, strychnine poisoning or the tetanus. Postmortem caloricity is seen. So three condition: increased bacterial activity in septicemia or the cholera. Failure of the heat regulation. Heat regulation failure occurs when there is sunstroke or there is pontine hemorrhage. And increased muscle activity in strychnine poisoning or in the tetanus poisoning. Now we will so what we have seen in algor mortis, we have seen that continuous decrease in temperature. There is a sigmoid shape curve. Thermometer is used. Core body temperature 98.5. Time since death can be measured normal body temperature minus rectal temperature divided by rate of fall. That is 0.5 to 0.75 in the summer, and how much 0.7 to 1.5 in the winter. Postmortem caloricity is the temperature increase in the septicemia or the cholera cases, failure to heat regulation in the sunstroke or pontine hemorrhage, and increased muscle activity due to convulsion. So muscle activity produces heat in the strychnine poisoning or the tetanus poisoning. Now see postmortem staining, postmortem lividity, hypostasis, viviscence or supillation. So postmortem staining, postmortem lividity, hypostasis, viviscence and supillation. So what is staining? So staining we have to remember is in the most dependent part which is the part of the body that is not contact with the surface. It is not contact with the surface of the ground but is facing the ground is the most dependent part. In this case this is the most dependent part, not touching the ground. Okay, so body lies in supine position. The part of the body touching the surface or ground are the pressure areas. The most dependent of the part are the so part touching the ground are the pressure area, and not touching the ground are the dependent areas. So postmortem staining or lividity is seen in that part. So postmortem staining, hypostasis, viviscence and supillation. So why the postmortem staining is seen? So why the postmortem staining is seen? So loss of circulation occur, pooling of the blood in the toneless capillary and venules of the dependent part. So because of loss of circulation, there is pooling of the blood in the capillary and the venules. It is lead to bluish purple staining that is known as postmortem staining. So mainly it is dermal layer blood vessel. It occurs shortly after the death, well visible by the 4 hour, maximum by the after 6 hours, between 6 to 12. And postmortem staining is fixed after 7 to 8 hours. So if 7 hours are happened after the death, the postmortem staining is fixed. It cannot be reversed now. The postmortem staining is fixed after 7. It becomes well visible after the 4 hour. After the 4 hour of the body, we start to see after the 4 hour of death, we can well visibly see in the postmortem stain. It becomes maximum by 6 to 12 hours and cannot be reversed after the 7th. So this hypostasis, subillation of viviscence is cannot be changed after 7 to 8 hours. Hypostasis that developed earlier should be shifted according to the new position, secondary lividity. So before 7 hours, if we change the position, the postmortem staining will shift to that side that is more dependent. For example, we are first the body was in supine position, then postmortem lividity is seen in the dependent part surround the stomach, but only 4 hours, it is less than 7 hours. So if we change the position, then the area that is not touching the ground or the most dependent area it will now take the postmortem staining, but after 7 hours cannot be reversed. And if the body is in flowing water, no postmortem staining in the sea. And love and stalking pattern of the postmortem staining is seen in the hanging position, because both limbs uh, and legs becomes the most dependent part. So what is the color of the postmortem staining? We'll see the color of the postmortem staining. In carbon monoxide poisoning, the color is the cherry red color in the carbon monoxide poisoning. And in the cyanide poisoning, big red color. In hydrogen sulfide, it is bluish green color. In opium poisoning, it is black color. In hypothermia, it is bright pink. And aniline, nitrites, benzene, phosphorus, chlorates, this chocolate color or the dark brown color. So carbon monoxide, it is cherry red. Cyanide, it is brick red. Hydrogen sulfide is bluish green. Opium black. Hypothermia bright pink. And aniline, nitrates, nitrite, benzene. Aniline, benzene is phosphorus and chlorates. Rest whole compound will chocolate color to the dark brown color for all the compounds. This is the postmortem staining of the various death. So what postmortem staining we have seen? We have seen that in carbon monoxide poisoning, it is cherry red. In cyanide, no, we have seen it is yes, carbon monoxide poisoning. It is cherry red. Cyanide poisoning, it is brick red. And bluish green in hydrogen sulfide, and black in opium poisoning. And we've seen that in anilines, benzene, all nitrate, chlorates, phosphorus, all chocolate dark brown color is seen. And in hypothermia, bright pink color of postmortem state. Now we see rigor mortis. So what is rigor mortis? Rigor mortis is a stiffening of the muscle. Rigor mortis is stiffening and shortening of the muscles in cadaver. So in cadaver, stiffening and the shortening of the muscle. Rigor mortis, also called as cadaveric rigidity due to ATP depletion, initiate when ATP level are 85% of the normal and maximum when 15%. So start when 85% of normal and maximum rigor mortis cadaveric rigidity when ATP level are 15% of the normal. So in which muscle rigor mortis is seen? In all muscle, whether voluntary or involuntary for the muscle. Smooth muscles, cardiac muscles, all muscles will show rigor mortis. Before rigor mortis, body in the state of primary relaxation. Secondary relaxation. So before rigor mortis, there is relaxation, primary relaxation. Then come rigor mortis, and after rigor mortis, the secondary relaxation, because now the muscle will decompose, the muscle actin myosin bonds will break down. Okay. So first involuntary muscle to start rigor mortis is the myocardium, the muscle of the heart. But myocardium, it is not visible muscle. So first external muscle visible is the upper eye. So if we have been asked what is the first muscle, we'll ask myocardium. We will ask first involuntary muscle, also myocardium. First voluntary muscle or the first visible muscle is the upper eye. So Nishtan law decides the direction of the rigor mortis. So first upper eyelid, then it comes to jaw, then it comes to neck, then again it moves upward to the face. Then follow a normal downward path: chest, upper limb, abdomen, lower limb, feet, toe. So first rigor mortis in the upper eyelid. So we have seen first rigor mortis is in the upper eyelid. Then it comes to the jaw, neck, then again move upward part to the face, then to the upper limb, chest, that is thorax, abdomen, then lower limb, then go up to the toe with the feet. So there is rule of 12 with the rigor mortis. First 12 hours rigor mortis appear in the all muscle. In the next 12 hours rigor mortis remain in the all muscle, and in the next 12 hours rigor mortis disappear from all the muscle in the body. rigor mortis appears and completely disappears. Within 36 to 48 hours after that, rigor mortis disappears. So fetus does not show less than 7 months, does not show rigor mortis. In the violent death, if the death is violent, very violent, it's cut the throat or stabbing, then rigor mortis comes early and is of short. In strychnine poisoning, which come remember by mnemonic steel, it is short and long. Arsenic poisoning, it is ALL, late and long. So arsenic poisoning, it is late and long. Strychnine poisoning, it is short and long. Organophosphorus poisoning, rigor mortis comes early. And in anemia, or when there is blood loss condition, anemia, hemorrhage, shock, rigor mortis is late. So rigor mortis is early. Rigor mortis comes early in organophosphorus poisoning. Anemia, hemorrhage, shock, it comes late. In violent poisoning, it is short and early. Strychnine poisoning, it is short and late. Arsenic poisoning, it is late and long. So what are the other causes of stiffening? Is heat stiffening when the temperature more than 65 degrees Celsius. Mechanism is simply coagulation and muscle protein. Cold stiffening occurs when less than -5 in frozen fluid. Frozen body fluids are responsible for cold fluids. Gas stiffening, it's occurring putrefaction or decomposition. 2 to 3 days after the death, gas stiffening occurs. So that is cadaveric rigidity. So we have seen cadaveric rigidity, rigor mortis. Then after that we will see cadaveric spasm or cataleptic rigidity. So what we have seen so far in rigor mortis. In rigor mortis, there is stiffening, shortening of the muscle. It occurs due to ATP depletion when they are 15% of normal start and 85% of normal they start and 15% of the normal it is maximum. Rigor mortis first occurs in the myocardium and the voluntary muscle in the upper eyelid. Distance law determine the rigor mortis. So distance law and rule of 12 in the rigor mortis. So rigor mortis is within 36 to 48 hours after the death. Fetus less than 7 months do not show the rigor mortis. In violent death, rigor mortis comes early and of short duration. Strychnine poisoning, it is early and long. Arsenic poisoning, it is late and long. Organophosphorus poisoning, it comes late. And anemia, shock, hemorrhage, it comes late. Other stiffening is a heat stiffening, in which temperature of the body more than 65. Cold stiffening is less than -5. Gas stiffening also occurs. Now we'll see cadaveric spasm or cataleptic rigidity. So what rigor mortis was cadaveric rigidity. Cadaveric spasm is cataleptic rigidity. It is cataleptic rigidity. So cadaveric spasm or cataleptic rigidity is seen in asphyxial death. So asphyxial death, there will be brain injury, cerebral injury, drowning, dinitro-orthocresol poisoning, exhaustion, and firearm injury. So asphyxia death, brain injury, cerebral injury, drowning, exhaustion, or firearm injury, then occur cadaveric spasm or cataleptic rigidity. In that, the primary what we have to note that in cadaveric spasm or cataleptic rigidity, primary relaxation phase is absent, and it occurs only in the few muscles. Mostly the small muscles of the hand show cadaveric spasm. So, for example, if the person is drawn, he will be in the short muscle. He will be carrying the seaweeds or plants in its hand. For example, person who committed suicide. So it is also called as instantaneous rigor. Why? Because primary relaxation was absent or cataleptic rigidity. So it occurs because cellular also when cellular death does not occur, respond to the electric stimuli. It gives also the idea of the manner of the death, manner of the death and mode of the death. So it gives idea about more idea about the manner of the death. Then mode of the death. So manner of the death, it is natural, accidental, suicidal, homicidal, or undead. Mode is a Bicard's criteria, asphyxia, syncope, and coma. So this was all about in this chapter. So what was the difference between the cadaveric spasm and cataleptic rigidity? In cadaveric spasm, primary relaxation phase was absent. and it occurs instantaneously, also called instantaneous rigor or cataleptic rigidity, occur when the drowning condition or person commits the suicide or person responds to electrical stimuli. It gives idea about the manner of the death, whether suicide, homicide, undetermined. Also about the mode of the death, asphyxia, syncope. Mode of the death according to the Picard's criteria, which is that is asphyxia, syncope, or coma. So it occurs in the asphyxial brain injury, cerebral death, drowning, exhaustion, firearm injury. So in all that, firearm injury in the suicide. So asphyxia, brain death, cortical death, drowning, exhaustion, firearm injury. Apart from the drowning, also dinitro-orthocresol poisoning, cadaveric spasm is seen. So dinitro-orthocresol poisoning, cadaveric spasm is seen. Rigor mortis is seen that due to ATP depletion, it is cadaveric rigidity. First occurs in the myocardium, Nisten's law, rule of 12. Fetal less than 7 months do not show the rigor mortis. And we have also seen in this chapter postmortem staining is the dependent part. It is because of the pooling of the blood in the capillary and the venules, because of the loss of circulation. It cannot be reversed after the 7 hour. Starting from the 1 to 2 hour, well visible after the 4 hour, maximum between 6 and 12 hours. We have seen postmortem staining of different color. Most commonly it is chocolate brown or dark brown because of poisons like aniline, nitrate, phosphorus, chlorates. Monoxide poisoning is cherry red, cyanide brick red, sulfide blue green, hypothermia is brown pink, opium poisoning it is black. We have also seen algor mortis, for which the thanatometer is used. We have seen the graph for the different condition, the temperature and the time graph. We have seen that for algor mortis it is a sigmoid shaped graph, for rigor mortis U shape, postmortem lividity is L, postmortem lividity is L shape, and for the decomposition it was continuously decreasing graph. So for the decomposition it was like that, increasing for the graph for the decomposition. Thanatometer, we have used the instrument. Time since death can be also be calculated, and there are conditions in which postmortem caloricity is seen. We see in the bacterial condition, septicemia, cholera, in the condition where cannot regulate temperature, sunstroke, spontaneous hemorrhage, and increased muscle activity, stagnant poisoning, or tetanus. And we have seen the eye changes, Kevorkian sign, railroading phenomena. We've seen the tachynoid. We've seen the concentration of the vitreous tumor, that potassium and hypoxanthine increase and glucose decrease, and intraocular pressure become nil after the 2 hour. So what are the immediate sign? Insensibility. The immediate sign: insensibility, loss of circulation and respiration. Early sign are the postmortem staining, eye change, rigor mortis, algor mortis. Late sign are decomposition, putrefaction. So insensibility and loss of voluntary power is the earliest sign. Cessation of circulation, respiration. Eye change, postmortem staining, ligol, algor mortis are early sign. Late sign are obviously decomposition and putrefaction. And we have also seen the test for the respiration, Winslow Feather test, circulation Magnus, IFNS, ICARD test. We have seen the condition of the suspended animation, that is ABCDE. ST, suspended animation seen in prolonged asphyxia, newborn baby, in concussion, drowning, electrocution, and shock, hypothermia, hyperthermia, shock, sunstroke, and trance conditions as other state of suspended animation. We see in between somatic and cellular death. Somatic death is cessation of the vital events. Cellular molecular event is at the molecular and cellular level. Time between them is a supravital effect. Zasco phenomena after 1 to 2 after somatic death. Brainstem will use Minnesota criteria. Cortical death will use Harvard criteria. So brainstem and all the 5 brainstem defects are absent for 12 hours. Brainstem death is for the live organ donation. Then we see in the 46 IPC determine the death. Death was defined in the Declaration of Sydney. Taphonomy is the study of the postmortem changes, and thanatology is the study of death and its aspect.